Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind. I wonder if the woke left is ever going to realize that they're essentially at the bottom of the totem pole. You know, it's kind of ironic because the narrative tends to be that the left is culturally relevant and powerful, but when push comes to shove, when you get all the nonsense and propaganda out of the way, when it really comes down to it, the far left seems to be the most expendable. It's the first to go. It's the first to hit the chopping block whenever the bottom line's in trouble. And it seems as though over the last couple of years, leftoids are finally starting to realize that they aren't as culturally relevant and powerful as they might have initially thought. Actually, it seems as though the power dynamic in a way is flipping, as corporate entities and I guess even governments are starting to wake up. Time to now start aligning the ship a little bit here. We're facing some financially challenging times. Well, it seems as though the woke left activists are the first ones to go, as the city of Seattle just took the entire Black Lives Matter Memorial Garden, which is the little remnant of the Chaz BLM zone, the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone Garden, and threw it in the trash. Leftoids are furious, but I think it's time for them to learn a very important lesson. Cultural relevance and power is earned through good ideas and bringing people onto your side, not constant lying, propaganda, and emotional manipulation, not constant public tantrums. The activist left is losing. Let me show you guys exactly what I mean by that. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks. So we all remember this, right? The Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone. Remember that little garden that they attempted to put together as a bunch of 30-year-old unemployed wannabes got together and decided they were going to create a little hippie communist commune, detaching themselves from the government. They don't need no capitalism, but they certainly needed to go to Home Depot to pick up a bunch of pre-potted plants, which they then attempted to plant into 2 inches of loose dirt on top of cardboard. Absolutely freaking genius. Well, a lot of you guys might not be aware, but that garden, well, it still existed in 2023, until now.
I don't normally use TikTok like this, but I don't know what else to do. As many of you know, I relocated to Seattle in the summer, and one of the most amazing things about my neighborhood is the Black Lives Matter Memorial Garden. It was started during COVID by a coalition of black farmers as a memorial to black and indigenous people murdered by police. And since its creation, it's fed hundreds of residents here in Capitol Hill. Become an important part of this community since its creation, and it's also faced the harassment and threat of removal by the city and police. Hundreds of residents have been coming out to protest, wanting to protect the garden, and dozens of businesses have signed up saying they like having the garden here. Last Public Works meetings, there were mention of a public forum in January where people could give feedback on the garden and if they wanted the garden to stay, what people wanted, and they could hear from community members. Hearings that Seattle has had about all sorts of public works projects like this. Except then this morning at 6 a.m., 2 days after Christmas, cops and Public Works are here on the ground with an excavator and ripping up the entire garden.
It's done. They came early, without warning, surrounded it with hundreds of cops, parks, and contractors, and they destroyed the space. So we will rebuild eventually.
Oh no, what are we ever gonna do? The city of Seattle threw this homeless-infested public nuisance, public eyesore in the trash. What are we ever gonna do? And leftoids, of course, are already peddling in propaganda, claiming that it was a coalition of black farmers that came together to create this BLM Memorial Garden. But as we know, that can't possibly be true. From my understanding, black people don't exist in Seattle Antifa circles. And also, from my understanding, I don't think anybody's losing sleep over a BLM Memorial Garden getting removed by the city. I think for the most part, people are ready to move on from the scam that was Buy Lavish Mansions. You know, you would think at this point, pretty much anything branded BLM would be seen as taboo, but as per usual, these woke leftoids in Seattle are living under some sort of rock in a fake news, leftist alternative reality echo chamber. And so it seems as though they still haven't realized that BLM was one big frickin' scam. Nobody has an issue with throwing away the BLM Memorial Garden, I think for the most part. As a society, more and more the sentiment of throwing wokeness in the garbage and all of its facets is becoming increasingly popular, and leftoids are starting to realize that. You know, I think a great example is what's been going on in the entertainment industry. Leftoids attempted a boycott back in 2022, attempting to cancel Dave Chappelle. Well, remember what happened at Netflix, right? Leftoids still haven't gotten over it.
Aired an openly transphobic comedy special by Dave Chappelle. And then in the wake of all of the controversy of doing that, fired all of their diversity hires, and then greenlit 3 more comedy specials from Dave Chappelle. And aired a comedy special from Ricky Gervais, which was also openly transphobic, that they had been sitting on for quite some time because it was transphobic. But because everyone had a problem with Ricky Gervais, or with Dave Chappelle's comedy special, they aired that one as just a bigger you to everybody. And now they've aired an openly misogynistic comedy special from Matt Rife. So my question is, why are you all still paying for a Netflix subscription? Because you know that their next step, the next thing they're going to do, is air a comedy special by an open white supremacist.
Oh no, 3 more Dave Chappelle specials, and apparently they were sitting on a Ricky Gervais special for a long time, waiting to drop it just to trigger the leftoids. Except, of course, that's more fake news. Ricky Gervais's Armageddon tour, which is what just aired on Netflix, well, the last date of his tour was December 13th. Literally, what, like 2 weeks ago? As you see here on the promotional graphic. But apparently there's some sort of conspiracy to keep dropping transphobic content. No, there's no conspiracy. It's just that people are done. They're done with the woke censorship, with the woke faux outrage. Corporations are no longer giving in to you because it's not profitable and it's not popular. Leftoids are learning that you need to actually represent popular culture if you want to be represented. No longer are there strong-arm tactics working, and it's no surprise, you know, we got woke lefties here complaining about how horrible Dave Chappelle is, how horrible Ricky Gervais is. What's the alternative? Woke comedy? You mean like this little segment from The Late Show the other night?
I am queer, specifically bisexual, and what that means for me is that I am 90% gay and 10% absolutely committed to proving my 8th grade bullies wrong. I will not let them win.
No wonder they're not winning in the culture war. I mean, what the frick was that? Anyways, pretty much all this to say that the left is losing, at least that's what it seems like. Their cultural influence is simply just being removed because it's not profitable. They're never going to take over the world of comedy because woke comedy, well, isn't comedy. They are never going to take over our cultural institutions or even government because their ideas are trash and obviously their culture is toxic, no people are interested, and the moment the activist left becomes even a slight issue for the corporate powerhouses, they are first, and I mean first, on the frickin' chopping block. That's what I got for you guys on this one. The BLM Memorial Garden is no longer. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.